चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे सत्यमयी परमे सत्यमयी परमे सत्यं ज्ञानं सत्यं ज्ञानं ज्योतिररविन्द ज्योतिररविन्द ज्योतिररविन्द. So last time we did a session on walking the sunlit path, and in brief we said that when we are walking life or living from a vision not limited to the mind but lit by an inner sun, when we are looking at life through that vision and walking along that path, then we are really walking the sunlit path. Now in Vedic symbology, night is often associated with ignorance. We have phrases like night of ignorance, and the moon is connected to the night, yeah. And very often in our Vedas there's a metaphor that the Atma is the sun and the mind is the moon, because the mind reflects light of the sun and shines. So it's a diminished light. The source will always have a brighter light, but when the source puts its light on a reflecting surface and that reflecting surface emits the light, it's always going to be a diminished light, right? So the moon of the mind is a lesser light than the bright sun. So the sun is the vision of the Atma, the psychic being within us, and the moon is the light of the mind in that sense. So dawn always represents the rising of the sun of truth, the truth consciousness rising and spreading in the sky represents Usha or the dawn. Okay, so the sun always is regarded as a truth consciousness. If you look at the Gayatri mantra, whatever, they are invoking the sun as a consciousness of truth. So to walk the sunlit path is to walk from our inner truth, the sun inside us. In Savitri, there's a beautiful line referring to the mother as the sun from which we kindle all our suns. The mother is that original primordial sun from which all the suns within us are kindled. The psychic being is a portion of the mother within each one of us. So in yoga we have very special mantras called Surya mantras, and I thought we could discuss the Surya mantras in the light of Mother and Sri Aurobindo's words and vision. So in our traditional Surya Namaskar, we have 12 asanas and we have one mantra for each asana. They are to invoke the sun within us. So the first mantra, Om Mitraya Nama, refers to the sun. See, the mantras are based on the premise that Yatha Brahmande Tatha Pinde, as is the Brahman, the larger universe, the macrocosm, so is the Pinda, the smaller universe. So the sun in the sky is really the same as the sun in my heart, because the macrocosm, the Brahmand, is the same as the Pinda, the microcosm. So the sun in the sky has this very special quality by which he gives his light equally to everything. Whether he comes across a garbage dump or a garden, the sun will shine equally on both. He doesn't diminish his smile or shine. So he befriends everything he goes over. So when we say Om Mitraya Nama, we are invoking that quality of the psychic within us, which smilingly accepts everything, every coming and going of life. So Mother says it very beautifully: if you can always smile at life, life too will always smile back at you. Or else, another place she says, the sun acts upon difficulty, a smile acts on difficulties like the sun upon clouds, it disperses them. So particularly if we have a temperament where we react very quickly to things, and that shows in our body. If we get allergies very quickly and body is nothing but condensed thought, it's just showing a very reactive temperament. I'm often reacting sharply to things, and that reaction is showing in my body as allergies, sneezing, skin allergies, whatever. So Om, and I found these Surya mantras have a very potent effect on the matter of the body, because the sun is so linked to the material earth, isn't it? So in fact, when we've been doing this the whole week in our yoga classes, and today somebody had a very bad catch, could hardly do any asanas, but she just did the Surya mantras, and she's saying, I'm amazed, I don't know how it's gone. Or if people have headaches or whatever, these are very, very powerful mantras, provided of course we chant them with a connection and belief. So Om Mitraya Nama is invoking my psychic quality to befriend everything in life, because everything happens for a purpose. There's a meaning in each curve and line. So I don't understand why it's happening, but instead of judging it, instead of recoiling it, let me simply befriend it. That's what this mantra is saying. So that's the first mantra. Then the second mantra is Om Ravaye Nama. Ravi is the sun, so Sunday is Ravivar, and Ravi in Sanskrit means the self-effulgent one, the one who shines in his own light. So if you look at the sun, he's shining in its own light. So whatever the light falls on, the light doesn't decrease. For us, it's not like that. If our sunshine falls upon somebody who's critical, we recoil. We aren't shining in our own light. We diminish and grow with circumstances. So Ravi is the quality of really shining in my own light and not getting diminished by circumstances outside. And there is something in me which is like that. What is that? What is the Ravi in me? Which part of me is Ravi? Psychic, the soul, but specifically the heart, yes. The witness in me, right, which is of course part of the psychic. The witness in me never gets affected no matter what it sees or what it perceives. It simply observes without judgment. So when I'm poised in the witness consciousness in me, the seer inside me, then I don't increase or decrease with the changes of life. And the third mantra is Om Surya Nama. Surya, it's difficult for us to really wrap our mind around it, but our Vedic rishis say that a single shaft of sunshine has all the wisdom of the world. We think sunshine is non-living. But if it was non-living, how is it that people turn around depression by just taking the sun for half an hour? How is it that it has such a deep impact on our hormones, on our bones, on everything? So there has to be a very living essence in the sun. So every beam of sun is truth, consciousness and wisdom. So Surya is the light of wisdom that dispels the darkness of ignorance. So every night, however dark the night is, when the sun rises, it doesn't even have to fight the darkness, isn't it? It just shows itself and the darkness dispels. So that's the quality of Surya, Surya Nama. That's true for the sun in the sky, that's true for the sun in me, because however much I'm in the grips, Sri Aurobindo writes in Savitri, right? Wherever there is ignorance, their suffering too must come. So however thick the darkness, the night of my ignorance, when the Surya, the psychic being inside me, shines with its wisdom, that wisdom dispels my darkness. And we often noticed it, we could be feeling so dark and so dismal, and suddenly we get a perspective from within that somehow dispels the darkness. So that's the action of the Surya within us. Then there is Bhanave. Bhanu is light. So when sunlight falls on any object, it becomes visible. At night it's dark, and then when the sun comes out and things become visible, we see, we don't stumble. So Bhanave is the quality of mindfulness in us, the quality that helps us to see so that we don't stumble, right? And then there is Khagaya Nama. Khaga is a bird, Ka is the sky, Ga from the root Gachati, so that which goes in the sky is a Khaga. So the sun is the bird which guides all the other birds. They look at it for direction. The psychic being is the sun within us, which guides the birds of our thoughts and our emotions. So in Savitri, there are those beautiful lines I quote almost every time. Even through the mists of mortal thought, infallible are thy mysterious steps. However confused and lost my thinking is, there's a guidance from within. Or there's another line, a light there is that leads, a power that aids, unmarked, unfelt, it sees in him and acts. Even when we don't feel this Khaga, somehow it's always guiding us. And then there's the sixth Surya mantra, Om Pushane Nama, the giver of strength and nourishment from within. So if you look at a pot, how is a pot made? A potter holds the pot from inside with one hand and with the other hand bangs it into shape. So the banging can be painful to bring out the best possible design. But even as the pot is being banged, there's the pushan, the hand which strongly holds the pot from inside. So the giver of strength and nourishment from within is the pushan. So maybe today we'll do just these 6 Surya mantras. I don't know if it comes, we'll do the other 6 today or next time. But let's sit tall. Put the right hand on your chest, left palm over it. See the sun in the sky and recognize the sun in the sky is the same as the sun in me. The mantra we did last time. Kam Tadeva Kam, that which is vast is same as that which is small and limited. So if that sun in the sky gives his light equally to the ugly and the beautiful, in potential, I too have the smiling equanimity that can receive everything in life with a smile, smiling faith and acceptance. So let's chant Om Mitraya Nama, focusing on the sun in the heart. Remember, the sun in our heart is a portion of the mother inside us. So Om Mitraya Nama 3 times. If there's something in your life you're recoiling against just now, actually trying to befriend it with a smile as you chant the mantra. Mitraya Nama. Mitraya Nama. Mitraya Nama. And then the second Surya mantra, Om Ravaye Nama, shining in my own light. So if there's an aspect of me which is very dependent on circumstances or other people's approval in order to shine or be happy, offering that to the light of this mantra, aspiring to shine in my own light, undiminished, unaltered. Ravaye Nama. Ravaye Nama. Then if I'm unhappy, Sri Aurobindo says, wherever there is ignorance, there suffering too must come. So the remedy to unhappiness is truth and wisdom. The truth that sets me free of suffering, and that truth is Surya, the light of wisdom that slays the darkness of ignorance. So any place where I'm unhappy, as I chant Om Surya Nama, invoking the sun, the truth consciousness, to give me that truth that sets me free. Surya Nama. Suryaya Nama. It's not Namaha, it's Nama. Suryaya Nama. I'm still hearing Namaha. Avoid saying Namaha. It's Namah. One last time. Suryaya Nama. Now we come to the next Surya mantra, Om Bhanave Nama, that which illumines, that which sheds its light on things so that I may know, so that I may grow. The quality of mindfulness. Ooh. inner guide, the Khaga. So wherever I feel lost and need guidance, really aspiring for guidance from the sun within. Khagaya Nama. Khagaya Nama. Khagaya Nama. And now we come to the sixth mantra, Om Pushane Nama, the giver of strength and nourishment. Whenever I'm feeling weak, whether in my thinking, in my emotions, you could even try sitting in the sun, touching a painful knee or anything that hurts, and 5 minutes chanting Om Pushane Nama into that part. It works magically. So looking for strength, nourishment, fortification from the sun. Pushane Nama. Pushane Nama. Pushane Nama. And slowly open your eyes. So the mother's words, when the need to become divine awakens in humanity, it will be the sign that the hour of realization is near. May all in us hasten this advent. What does it mean to become divine? When the mother is saying, when the need to become divine awakens in humanity, so long as we are content living this normal life, happy when our desires are fulfilled, unhappy when the desires are not fulfilled, we don't have a quest, we don't have a need to become divine. So when the need to become divine, when the need to look for something more than what's visible to us, when the need to really live from the sun within us awakens, then, as Mother says, it will be the sign that the hour of realization is near. Someone asks, Mother, what do you mean by humanity? Is it the entire humanity? No, the Mother says. By humanity, I mean those who are capable of feeling the need to become divine, those who are making an effort for a divine life, those who feel the necessity, who are preparing themselves and not the whole mass of humanity. I mean when someone's influence will be felt by another as an imperative need. It is not even an idea which is transmitted, but something in the atmosphere which vibrates and touches those who strive for a divine life. So we come back to Sri Aurobindo's symbol. The descending triangle is the descent of the truth consciousness, the supramental light into earth. And we know that the Mother managed to bring this down in 1956. The supramental day, and that force is there in the atmosphere, and the nature of that force is a way to awaken aspiration in matter. So we often think that the ascending triangle comes first, man's call to the divine comes first, and then the descending triangle comes with the divine's answer. But it's not so. Sri Aurobindo says those who call to the infinite are first called by the infinite. So the descending triangle is the force Mother and Sri Aurobindo brought down to the earth. And wherever matter is receptive to it, it awakens an aspiration in matter, an aspiration to become divine. So it begins from a point and then it spreads in a unique way. This thing which manifests in someone propagates itself, and the effect of its influence can be felt among those who are preparing themselves for a divine life. So I don't know the exact words, but somewhere in Savitri, it's so beautiful. In Ashwapati's interaction with the Divine Mother, Ashwapati is Savitri's father, there are lines to the effect that the mother builds a golden bridge into Ashwapati's heart and touches all humanity through that. Even if one being opens to light, it's a point in matter that receives the force, and all of matter somewhere receives it through that one being. So it is not a thing which goes from one to another like an idea, but it is more subtle, like a manifestation on the terrestrial plane. Thus it reveals something to a group of people, but all do not feel it. Only those who are preparing themselves, at any rate, certain individuals. I never speak about the stupid mass of humanity, that never. It is only the elite of the people who awake to the necessity of a spiritual life. It is like a simultaneous influence which affects a small minority of people. It is these that I call humanity, because it is a manifestation in the terrestrial atmosphere, and there are some who by the inner preparation feel the thing which is in movement and assimilate it in their consciousness. It is these that I call humanity, and not the ignorant mass who are what they are and will not feel any effect. I am not speaking to all these people, but those who would have caught the thing which is in the air, which has manifested. It is these whom I consider as humanity. Perhaps they are very few, but they are the ones who will be capable of receiving it, because it demands a work of preparation. And when the force or the thing I'm trying to work on descends a little in the atmosphere, then these people, one here, another there, I don't know which year Mother said this, maybe it was before 1956, because she was trying to bring down the supramental force. So maybe it was before, but we'll have to check. And when the force or the thing I'm trying to work on descends a little in the atmosphere, then these people, one here, another there, catch it, or else they are touched. It is among these people that the work is beginning. It occurs quite simultaneously among these people chosen by the force which descends. You understand? It is this humanity I'm speaking of. It is not the entire world, but those who have the capacity to receive the force. Further, Mother says, for one who has sincerely consecrated himself to the divine work upon earth, what outwardly seems to be the worst always brings forth the possibility of the most total realizations. Now, this is very tough for the human mind to wrap around, because what we consider to be outwardly terrible, we all have some point in our life which is terrible, a terrible relationship at home or at work or somewhere or the other, and mother saying that what outwardly seems to be the worst always brings out the most total realization. So all our problems are our biggest blessings in disguise, and we should not think that we are the least favored by God when He has given us difficulties, because sometimes His greatest blessings come to us as difficulties, because those difficulties are the greatest opportunities for growth. So just hear this sentence again, it's so beautiful. For one who has sincerely consecrated himself to the divine work upon earth, what outwardly seems to be the worst, think of what's the worst area in your life, and mother says always brings forth the possibility of the most total realizations. But for that to be accomplished materially, two things are dispensable. It should be indispensable. Two things are indispensable: an unwavering stability in the faith and a total peace in the trust. So for us to really see our difficulties as opportunities, two things are required: an unwavering stability in faith, not faith which is wavering. Today I'm all lit up with faith, I'm all mother, mother, mother. Tomorrow I'm feeling blah, if there's no mother, there's no God, I'm alone. So that's a wavering faith. So mother is saying an unwavering stability in the faith. And if you have that faith, it brings you to complete peace. In fact, it's so beautiful in Rishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. He's given many ways to still the chitta vritti, still the minds. And he says the most potent way is Ishwar Pranidhan, surrendering to the divine and having faith in the divine, because most of our thoughts are thoughts of worry and doubt, right? If you have this faith, it will naturally bring you to peace. And there's this gorgeous line in Savitri: calm is self's victory overcoming fate. So fate is circumstances. When you deal with circumstances through your mind, you get agitated. But when you're anchored in the psychic, in the mitra in your heart, that can smile at everything, then it gives you that calm. And that calm is the self's victory, the psychic's victory, overcoming fate. Whatever fate does to me, I am stable in my faith. And that stability in my faith brings me the peace, the calm that is self's victory overcoming fate. So somebody asks the mother, how do the worst of things always bring forth the most total realization, not incomplete but total? You see, it is like this, she says. The very fact that the worst happens to someone shows that he hides in himself the possibility of the highest, the most total, the sublime. So they say you're given a cross in proportion to how strong your shoulders are. Life won't put a cross on your shoulders which will break your shoulders. So if there was not this deep downward movement, there could not be this contrary movement to rise to the highest possibility. So Sri Aurobindo, and at least in my reading, I've never read anyone else giving this concept. He gives us the concept of the dark persona, where he says that if you have a darkness or a weakness in you, you have the proportionate amount of its opposite. So if you're a very distracted person, you have the ability to be very still, which a person who is not very distracted from the beginning won't have. So the deeper your darkness, the more the light in potential you have. So we've seen this in Angulimal and all, no? I mean, so many examples in history. Even somebody who was so close to Mother Satprem, if we look at his past, so much drug addiction, and he was suicidal and all that, but he had that amount of light in him that he was Mother's closest confidant in her last few days. So, if there was not this deep downward movement, there could not be this contrary movement to rise to the highest possibility. The terrestrial law is that contrary needs contrary. It hides itself as behind the appearance. The most beautiful is hidden in the worst. But for the worst to reveal the possibility of opening to the highest possible, one must have an absolute faith, a total trust in the divine grace, and a complete and stable peace which does not waver whatever may happen. It is an unshakable and invariable peace which does not question, which does not doubt, an inner peace which is without excitement and without anxiety, because it has an absolute trust in the divine. It is a state like this, Mother makes a gesture, tranquil, unwavering. So even when life takes us into a very difficult moment, if we are in touch with the sun inside us, our response to the difficulty is just quietness and peace. And if that is our inner response, we can be assured that it will be resolved. But the outcome of a difficult trigger in our life is determined by our inner response. If we respond from a higher consciousness, there's a better result. Still higher, still better. Highest, of course, there's the best result. For he is the inner guide. We just did the mantra Om Khagaya Nama, the guide within. And in all that happens, he is responsible. It's so beautiful to really not take responsibility, but not in a lazy way. I'll always do my best, but I'm not responsible for the results. He is responsible. That is why one keeps this faith intact and this total peace through the worst of conditions, and what seems materially the worst in an ordinary consciousness is not so in another consciousness or another kind of attitude. It is only a question of how one looks at things, as one sees them, or depends on the degree of importance one gives to them, so one perceives them. So I've given this example before perhaps, but good to revisit it. So take an example of a child who's studying for a very, very tough math exam, and the child is having a breakdown studying, but studying hard, whatever. Now, if the child has an ordinary mother, the mother will feel very bad for her child and she'll cry with her child. But if the child had a mother like her, and every child has a mother like her, she would say, she could look into the child's future and she could see that this thing that the child's going through will help him to perhaps become a mathematical genius in the future. So she won't do anything to help the child struggle. She'll say, good struggle, I can see where the struggle is leading you to. So when we see people down and going through difficulties, instead of feeling sorry for them and getting pulled down by that sorrow, even for them it's good for us to have faith that the one who's made them, manifest them, become them, is looking after them. not looking after only me, she's looking after everyone and everything. So that those beautiful lines, but there is a guardian power, there is a power which is guarding everything. There are hands that save. Calm eyes divine regard the human scene. So that's not only true for me, it's true for everyone. So when I see my loved ones in difficulty or in pain, yes, I should help them, but with as little sorrow in my heart as possible, because they are also being helped. And the more faith I have in their future wellness, the more I invite that wellness into their lives. The more I keep thinking, poor thing, this will happen, that will happen, the more I'm inviting that. But if we have this total peace and faith in the divine, then all that happens is for the best possible. And with this trust, we can remain detached without any reaction whatsoever and remain unmoving in the face of all that happens. Well, in this case, the worst of calamities do not touch us. There is no pretension in all this. If one is sincere, then the worst things one can imagine become as if steps to the most total and sublime progress. With this attitude, one can climb to the highest possible heights. But one must have an unwavering faith and a perfect peace like this, same gesture, tranquil in an absolute trust in the divine. It is a state that exists, there is no doubt. It is a detached attitude, but confident and peaceful in all situations, because it has found the inner link where our outer storms have no access. So beautiful to find the inner link where our outer storms have no access. That's the Ravi inside us. We just chanted Om Ravaye Nama. That inside us, whose light doesn't diminish no matter what we go through. For it is total peace and faith in the divine that are his guide. Nothing can shake him. Nothing can touch him who has faith and an absolute peace. It is a little difficult and it takes some time, but with a sincere effort, what in the world is difficult? You must try to find this peace and this faith in whatever you do. Then the grace will always smile at you. And you know, with this attitude, one can do anything. It holds the key to all realization. It is all powerful. What is this it? What is this it? When she's saying it holds the keys to all realizations? The faith and the peace it brings. It is all powerful. It can cure the worst diseases, whatever they may be. If you can have this inner consciousness, but one must be sincere and have this absolute trust without faltering and be as calm as possible. Then all goes well and one says to oneself, for he is my support. It is in him and through him that I act. If we can develop this faith in us, then things appear completely different and in a new light. And the worst things always bring forth the possibility of total realizations. So I'd like to share, I think just last year I'd taken a group of adults to Pandi. And the first day we landed in Pandi, I got one of those terrible flus. And I remember that, I begin with an orientation talk, and I did not have a voice to speak. I was wondering how I'd talk, but somehow I felt it was one of the most beautiful, I felt very beautiful talking. I don't know how it was for others. And my throat ache, I didn't feel it. As soon as I finished speaking, the throat ache came back. I reached my room, I was shivering, I had high fever. And then at night, I take them to the Samadhi for the first time. So I couldn't get out of bed, but I said I must, because I had the camp ahead of me, and if I felt sick, I didn't know how I would do it. So I put on a shawl, I went to the Samadhi somehow, and I just prayed to the Mother that, look, I've come here to do my best for you. You have to make me well by tomorrow. And I went back to my room and I slept. Next morning, there wasn't one symptom left. And normally this kind of thing will take a week to get well. So if we have faith, she'll really do anything for us. So it's really true, it can cure the worst diseases, whatever they may be, if one can have this inner consciousness. But one must be sincere and have this absolute trust without faltering, and be as calm as possible. Then all goes well, and one says to oneself, for he is my support. It is in him and through him that I act. If we can develop this faith in us, then things can appear completely different and in a new light. And the worst things always bring forth the possibility of total realizations. It is like this: since one wants to leap forward, one has to first go back a few steps. Even when we are running a race, we take a step back and then sprint forward, as if one were retreating and then leap forward with elan. In the same way, when one sees something bad in oneself and it is repugnant, then immediately one wants to change it into something beautiful. This is because behind what is ugly, there is lodged a spark of beauty of the highest kind one can find. So beautiful. I'm reading this sentence again. This is because behind what is ugly, there is lodged a spark of beauty of the highest kind one can find. In his thoughts and aphorisms, Sri Aurobindo writes, God had opened my eyes when I could see the beauty in the repulsive and nobility in the vulgar. So anything that's ugly to my seeing, actually there's lodged in it a spark of beauty of the highest kind. This marvelous wonder calls to you, and from your side you truly insist on change. It is as though the worst were leading you towards what is beautiful. This is the law of nature, since behind pain one finds sublime joy. So Mother's words, as always, are never to be just read, they are to be lived. So actually do it. If you find something really ugly in your nature, something that makes you recoil, what she's saying, that behind what is ugly, there's lodged a spark of beauty of the highest kind. So this ugliness has its opposite potential beauty. So instead of hating it, I embrace it, I work with it, I offer it to Mother, because it's not going to remain ugly forever. Every caterpillar is going to become a butterfly, right? A beautiful butterfly is potential in the caterpillar. But if you kill off the caterpillar, you're killing off the butterfly. If you hate yourself for your weaknesses, you're not nurturing them until they flower into their beauty. In the same way, one must bear extreme pain to find the divine, who is the joy of ecstasy. It is the pain that ends in beauty. Mother ends with saying, "Now have you understood?" This is from Manifestation of the Divine, prayers given by the mother to Mona Sarkar. Now we come to lines from Savitri, page 657. Darkness below, a fathomless light above. Here also he's talking about contraries. There's darkness below, the darkness in matter, darkness in the subconscient, and a fathomless light above. In light are joined, but sundered by severing minds. So beautiful. I'm reading it again. See if the lines speak to you. Darkness below, a fathomless light above. In light are joined, but sundered by severing mind. So remember last Saturday we did the mantra, Come Tadeva Come, Yadeva Come Tadeva Come. That which is vast, come, is one which is that which is small, which is limited. So the light of the spirit is as much light as the darkness of matter. If light of the spirit is come and matter is come, but the rishis tell us, come tadeva come, yadeva come tadeva come. So the two are actually one continuum of light, but our mind sees it as separate. So joined by light, but sundered, separated by the severing mind. And in fact, elsewhere in Savitri, Sri Aurobindo writes, darkness is nothing but a magic of self-hidden light. Darkness doesn't exist. All darkness is full of light, which is hiding itself, so there's an appearance of darkness. But actually there is nothing like darkness. All darkness is a magic of self-hidden light. So that self-hidden light actually makes darkness continuous with light. But our mind can't see it. It is divided by our severing mind. So these darkness and light stand face to face, opposite, inseparable. Two contraries needed for this great world task. Two poles whose currents awake the immense world force. So again in Ramayana, Ravan symbolizes darkness and Ram is of course the light. But if we look back on the past, Ravan in his earlier birth was Vijay, right? The gatekeeper of Vaikunt. When Ram was Vishnu, Ravan was his beloved Vijay. So they were one in light. Then for this whole drama, circumstances happened that Vijay came down to earth and became Ravan. And the story goes that the moment Ram killed Ravan, Ravan's soul went straight into Ram's heart and Vijay was restored to Vaikunt. Now we don't see all this, so darkness and light are very black and white for us. But actually there is no boundary, it's all a play of the same light. Yeah.
He knew that he was going to be united
with, yeah, very possible. Two contraries needed for this great world task. Two poles whose currents awake the immense world force. So the whole Ramayana wouldn't have happened if the light that Vijay was hadn't consented to become the darkness of Ravan. So in Thoughts and Aphorisms, he writes, the titans, the Rakshasas, are dearer to God than the gods, because the titans do his dirty work. If there was no Ravan, there'd not be a Ramayana. No, nobody would even be remembering Ram today. Two contraries needed for his great world task, two poles whose currents wake the immense world force. In the stupendous secrecy of his self, above the world brooding with equal wings, he is both in one, beginningless without end. Transcending both, he enters the absolute. His being is a mystery beyond mind. God's being and his whole play of light and darkness is a mystery beyond mind. The mind can't understand it. His ways bewilder mortal ignorance. His ways are things that happen to us in life. We get bewildered. How could this happen? Why did this happen? So his ways bewilder mortal ignorance. The finite in its little sections parked. Each of us is a finite parked in our little sections, in our little moles. The finite in its little sections parked, amazed, credits not God's audacity. So God is so audacious that he can do all these unbelievable things, but we don't like it somehow. We don't give credit to it. We say, why are you doing this? It's not fair. So the finite in its little sections parked, amazed, credits not God's audacity, who dares to be the unimagined all. So the all-powerful light of God can become the absolute darkness of Ravan, the magnified ego which for his pleasure is willing to sacrifice everything. But Ravan is also God, right? So the audacity of God that he dares to be the unimagined all. And Deepak Chopra gives a very beautiful definition of God. He says, God is a realm of infinite possibility. He can be anything possible. So, who dares to be the unimagined all, and see and act as might one infinite. So, God dares to be the unimagined all, and he sees and acts as someone who is infinite. Now, if I am limited, I am greedy for experience. I want this and I want that because I feel I'm small. But imagine for a moment if my consciousness really believed I was infinite. What would be the pace with which I would walk through life? How would I live? How would I interact? Now, God lives and sees like one who is infinite. He has infinity to work things out. So, he has no impatience that it should be done now. And see and act as might one infinite. Against human reason, this is his offense. This is his offense against us. He is living and seeing as one who is eternal. So he tests our patience to the hilt sometime, right? We think he's taking so long to work things out, but he is looking at life from the vision of infinity. So for him, you know, there's that beautiful song, as children bring their broken toys with tears for us to mend, I took my broken dreams to God because he was my friend. But instead of leaving him in peace to work alone, I hung around and tried to help in ways that were my own. Come on, do it like this. Give me this outcome. Do it in this month. In 2 months, this should happen. So I hung around and tried to help in ways that were my own. At last, I snatched them back. My broken toys, which I took to God to mend, I kept telling him, but he didn't do anything. So at last, I snatched them back and cried, how can you be so slow? You're not doing anything. My child, he said, what could I do? You never let them go. Once you gave them to me, you should have let go and just waited. But you got impatient. So, against human reason, this is his offense. Being known to be forever unknowable. God is the ever unknowable mystery, the anirvachaniya, that which can't be spoken of or worded. To be all and yet transcend the mystic whole. Absolute to lodge in a relative world of time. So he is absolute, but yet he finds home in the moments of time, in the changing world of time. Eternal and all-knowing to suffer birth. We can't understand how he does all this. He is all and yet he transcends the mystic whole. That means he is everything and yet he is beyond everything. How does he do it? We can't understand. Absolute to lodge in a relative world of time. Eternal and all-knowing to suffer birth. He is eternal, so how can the eternal be born? But yet he takes birth as each of us. Omnipotent to sport with chance and fate. Spirit, yet to be matter. He is spirit, but spirit becomes matter. Somewhere else in Savitri, there's a phrase, matter, a firm density of the soul. Matter is a firm density of the soul. Spirit, yet to be matter and void. Illimitable, beyond form or name. To dwell within a body, one and supreme. To be animal and human and divine. He's a realm of infinite possibility. He can be animal, human and divine. A still deep sea, he laughs in rolling waves. We are all the rolling waves, and the deep sea is the unity that connects all the waves together. So God is that deep sea also and the rolling waves also. A still deep sea, he laughs in rolling waves. Universal, he is all. He is in everyone in the universe. Transcendent, none. Yet he is outside the universe also. It's a beautiful line. Universal, he is all. Transcendent, none. Okay, so I'll just read this whole passage without explanation. Darkness below, a fathomless light above. In light are joined, but sundered by severing mind. Stand face to face, opposite, inseparable. Two contraries needed for his great world task. Two poles whose currents wake the immense world force. In the stupendous secrecy of his self, above the world brooding with equal wings, he is both in one, beginningless, without end. Transcending both, he enters the absolute. His being is a mystery beyond mind. His ways bewilder mortal ignorance. The finite, in its little sections parked, amazed, credits not God's audacity, who dares to be the unimagined all, and see and act as might one infinite. Against human reason, this is his offense, being known to be forever unknowable, to be all and yet transcend the mystic whole, absolute to lodge in a relative world of time, eternal and all-knowing to suffer birth, omnipotent to sport with chance and fate, spirit yet to be matter and the void, illimitable beyond form or name, to dwell within a body one and supreme, to be animal and human and divine. A still deep sea, he laughs in rolling waves. Universal, he is all, transcendent, none. We'll stop here. Let's conclude with 3 Oms. But maybe before that, just so that you remember the 6 Surya mantras we did at the beginning, let's just chant them together and then end with 3 Oms. I'll say the middle word and then we'll chant the mantra. Try to recollect the meaning as we discussed. Mitraya. Mitraya Nama. Ravaye. Ravaye Nama. Suryaya. Suryaya Nama. Bhanave. Bhanave Nama. Khagaya. Khagaya Nama. Pushane. Pushane Nama. 3 Oms. Making a collective aspiration that we all live from the sun within, then we walk what the Mother calls the sunlit path.